Phanatik. Phanatik. For people that don't know Phanatik, he's a Christian hip hop legend. I put a picture up there with him. Like, he has cross movement. He actually has some solo albums. And actually, I don't know if you saw the whole video that he actually was explaining.
Yeah.
He basically denounced his faith. He denounces Christianity, I guess, and how he was brought up looking at it. And this to me, like, it's no surprise, because I think over the last 3 years, I know I've seen cats that were, that you would supposedly are heavy in the faith, denounce Christianity, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And so with Phanatik, and I'm interested to see your take on this, Rad, because this is just a classic case to me of you overindulging your knowledge base, and now you're literally trying to find an answer for everything. You're trying to find an answer for, why X, Y, like. And I get that, like, even being a believer Christian, like, you want to know, okay, why God, or why, certain stuff happens, but certain stuff, you got to let your faith run its course. You know what I mean? You can question God, but he may not give you that answer, right then and there or whatever. And so you got to continue, to exhaust your faith, not allow, I think he just puts too much book knowledge and academic stuff into his faith. And so now he questions a lot of stuff. Well, why do I say this? Now I can poke a hole in Christianity. If I say this, I put this, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, to me, when you get your head or be too intelligent with your faith and Christianity and stuff, that's when you're going to start losing it. Cause then you're going to start getting manipulated by the information that you're having. You know what I'm saying? So I think Phanatik, although it's heartbreaking, but if you see, and this is I guess you can say, I ain't gonna say it's a knock, but maybe it's a knock. But to me, when you're in Reformed and when you're in that whole camp, the Reformed camp, like, just for me, I've witnessed, like, it's kind of tough, if you're starting with that Reform perspective. Because it's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of stuff may not make sense in the first place. And so you kind of, in my opinion, you're kind of at a disadvantage, from the get-go. And so I think he was around that or in that, type of doctrine or whatever you want to call it. But, and really, I think he had like a 25-minute video.
Yeah.
And looking at it all, bro, like, he looked even hesitant to even say
what he wants.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that even, tells me more. And he's struggling with what he's been told and what he's learning and the whole academic and knowledge of it, to where you can't put Christianity or Jesus in a box.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In a box to where it's saying, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. Like, in certain things you can, but for the most part, you got to believe it. And whatever that you don't have or knowledge that you have right now, you got to believe it by faith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
dude, I think, first of all, let me say, for me, and Crown can attest to this, like, we got to open for them. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, like, so.
Out of town?
I got to, no, here. When they came here at the Rose Theater on the University of Memphis campus. Okay. So, like.
The whole cross movement? I was just, okay.
Yeah, that was before the Truth blew up, before Flame blew up, you know what I'm saying? And so this was around the time when what's the album they had, What You Know About This, huh? Well, like that song was real hot, but like I remember on the House of Representative album, like he had the song Spare Rituals, and I believe it was Hold It Down. He had the C to the R song, Back Up off the Human Emergency album. Like I've got both of his solo albums. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a guy, and his style was so different because it was almost like he was doing spoken word as opposed to rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like his style was very different.
Yep.
And so to your point, and our guy C Micah talked about this a lot. When you try to logic a lot of things, it doesn't make sense because your human rationale sometimes cannot comprehend that.
Not gonna take it.
I will say this though, if you are familiar with scripture, like a lot of the things that are happening in the world and even within the faith are in scripture. And that's why I said we can argue it, but like everything that's going on right now, how did they know 1,000 years ago, almost to that, like that this was going to be happening? So we can sit up here and argue that, but like, so,
right.
Oh, well, it just people manipulate, but that's been in there at least since the 15, 1600s when they translated it to what we call English. So you're still 500 years ahead, 600 years ahead. How did you know that?
Yeah.
Like, what is the human rationale for that? Yeah. So you can't. Yeah. You're a fool, and I'm telling you. So don't do it. Say I can't explain it. Say it's the universe. Say whatever you want, but don't say some man made that up when 600 years ago, wars, rumors of wars, what they talking about now between Russia and wars and rumors of wars, chemical and biological warfare. That's what we're going through right now. Mm-hmm. But it also said that people are going to be leaving the faith.
Yep.
Message.
And that's what we're going through. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just Brady Goodwin, aka the Phanatik. Yep. It's other people who are questioning because and one of the people that one of our homegirls that we know, like that would be an issue between me and her because it's like you deal with these white evangelicals and because you have not experienced it personally, you're denying 99 other people that have experienced it. Well, I didn't see it, right. But this happened.
Right.
It'd be just like, the George Floyd thing. If you didn't see the video, you could say, well, I mean, I ain't never seen it, but we got a video.
Right.
We got people that was outside. We got people that seen it. Well, I ain't see the video. So you're saying it didn't happen because you didn't see it. And like, that was my issue is like, so just because you didn't experience this, then you don't have an issue with that, but we're telling you This is real, this exists. And so now what we have talked about on our own personal time, a lot of times in terms of stuff that we experience, contradictions that we see in the way that people practice their faith. Mm-hmm. Now, what I've been taught, as what you said, versus what I'm actually seeing in the world. I'm seeing this injustice. I'm seeing the inconsistencies. I'm seeing these people who so-called are Christians, but they don't have no true love in their hearts. Yeah. They practice racism covertly, not overtly. It's just covert. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We move into your neighborhoods, y'all move out. Redlining. You don't let us move in. You see the disparity between the way we're incarcerated and the way people who look like y'all are incarcerated is completely different. Me or you commit a crime or something like that and we're thrown up under the bus, and you got people like Jeffrey Epstein and others that do things like that. And, well, I mean, what they went through as a child, and you make excuses for that. Right. And you start seeing it. So now when you're looking in scripture, now you're starting to question, you start to doubt.
See, this is the crazy part, because this is the interesting part, because I know we've, you've shared to me over the years your experiences, some things you've had at shows performing, and I'm thinking he's probably been overseas and stuff, and I know he has seen the power of God at work, probably people speaking in tongues and doing all this stuff.
But see, a lot of that, they deny a lot of that though, and that was one of the things that Mike could talk about.
Yeah,
they deny a lot of that,
right? And so, and that's where I bring to my point the whole reform thing, because that's kind of where it becomes tricky. And then that's how I say it's all about knowledge and academia, because I know he's probably seen the power of God, but now he can't, it's hard for him to decipher, okay, this is what I seen, but this is what I know, this knowledge. And so now this is not lining up. And so I got to believe what's in my head more, because, you know what I mean? So it's just, to me.
To your point, though, that thinking will have what's up here greater than what's here.
Keep it presidential.